Right, good. Well, it was a good weekend for our team. I thought, our first Big Ten road series, playing a really good team. And, I look at their lineup. I think you look at some of their centers they have there with Nelson and Knubel and Mazzotti and Fisher on the back end. And they got a really good goalie. I knew it was going to be a good test. And I thought we were really good on Friday. I thought we did a lot of things we wanted to do as a team. I thought on Saturday they were a lot better. I thought we scored early, and then maybe we got away from a little bit of things we need to do to be a good team. And I thought Trey was our best player on Saturday. So, you're going to need goaltending, but you can't abuse that, right? So we got to make sure we're playing the right way. And looking forward to having Wisconsin in town here. They're a heck of a team. They got a ton of depth. They're playing really good hockey, so it'll be a good test for our group.
Is Trey ever played any better than he is right now?
He's been really consistent. You look at I think we've done a good job in front of him. Outside of Saturday, I thought we got a little bit loose and gave up some chances. They earned them, but I think we try to limit the amount we give up. And he definitely had to play really well. So where I think he's managed the game really well. He's there's not a ton of rebounds, and we're lucky to have him for sure. And he's always been consistent. You know what he's going to get, but it seems like it's a different level right now.
Especially with a slightly younger team, how do you feel about the team playing on the first road environment?
Yeah, we've been on the road. We went to BU and we went to Northern, so that was our we haven't played a ton of home games. So I like the poise of the young group. I think that the guys we have 11 freshmen and 2 transfers, so 13 new guys, but. I think they've done a really good job of playing with poise, and I think that starts with our leadership of watching how those guys handle certain situations. So we're going to need them to keep improving, right? And just like all the guys on our team, because we got to play team hockey if we're going to be good, and but they're off to a good start.
I guess you never discuss in there being number one. That never comes up, right? That's kind of our world.
Yeah, no, we don't really. Rankings are rankings. I think people get excited about it and that, and as far as a fan perspective and alums and all that, and for our guys, it's we want to just make sure we play our best every game and make sure we have a good practice the next practice and try to maintain that focus. So, that can change in an instant, right? Where you're ranked or whatever, and I think it's a good sign for your program, right? If you're ranked, but at the end of the day, that really doesn't mean anything.
It's early, but nothing's really separated as well as you played in the Big Ten. You get the next 5 at home now. Is this a chance to really make some hay?
Well, we're looking forward to playing at home, right? It was just the way the schedule went. We've only played, I think, 4 games or whatever at home, and we had an exhibition game, so 5. But 5 of the next 6 at home, and our crowd's been awesome. And we owe it to them. They've supported us, right? We owe it to them to play our best and make sure we represent our school how it should be represented, and that's playing as a team, and it's not about any one guy. And but you got to take advantage of those opportunities when you're playing at home, right? And so Mun's been really good to us, but you can't assume that, and we got to go out and earn it.
In the old days, people had to wait in line to get tickets here. I know you wanted to bring that back. Is this kind of what you dreamed? Is this part of the dream when all these games are being sold out like they are?
Yeah, I think we're, I think that's a byproduct, right? To say, hey, we're going to come here. We just want to make sure when we play, people got to make decisions with their money, right? And so, we're not going to win every game, but we're going to play hard, and we're going to, there's going to be no quit in our team, and I think we've earned some respect from our fans, and that took some time. I think our first, couple months here as a staff, there wasn't many people at the game, right? And so, but not now. Our guys have, but you can lose that quick too, right? And so you're not entitled to having a crowd, and you got to make sure you earn that every single night. But I think it's awesome to see Mun back alive and loud, and seeing them lined up before the game, and just talking to people in town, right? You can't get a ticket, and that's a great sign. We got to just make sure we maintain it.
You talked about some of the struggles on Saturday. Do you think any part of that was because the second line and the fourth line were a little bit different? Like, we know that the team is deep, but maybe there's just a little bit of different chemistry with it?
Well, but I thought we played pretty good on Friday, right? So it's the same lineup, and I don't know. I think this is a little bit happens in hockey, right? We had a good game on Friday. you come in and you score, 80 seconds into the game, and then you think it's, it's going to be easy, or you can kind of maybe try some different things or whatever. And, our shift length, if you look at that, it got a little bit longer. And they were better too, right? And we knew they were going to be better. They got a heck of a new coaching staff there. And they got a ton of good players in their team, so they responded really well. But I think that was more of it is, your mindset, right? And so you got to make sure you stay disciplined. It's not, it's not about the scoreboard. Yes, you want to try to score, but it's about quality of play. But I thought as the game went, I thought in the second, the third there, we got more to what we need to be, and we watched some stuff today on it, right? And so it's yes, the scoreboard and public's going to say you won the game, and we want to make sure that every game we play was better than our last.
And then that drill you guys do at the end of practice, where it's kind of like a smaller, like, I guess, what are like the benefits of that from a coaching perspective, like that specifically?
Well, I think it's competitive, and you don't have much time and space, right? So I think that's that's our sport, right? And anybody can make plays when there's time and space. So we want to be a team that limits time and space, and then tries to be able to, or make plays when you don't have a ton of time and space. So our guys like it. It's competitive, and I think you see that when you watch them out there, right? It gets heated, but that's. You got to be able to control your emotions, but I think that's at the end of the day, it's about, we can work on all these tactical things that, I think competing and having a heavy stick and being relentless is the key to being a good hockey team, and we got to make sure we practice that.
Porter Martone, big weekend, Big Ten third star of the week. What did you see from his play on film in both and during the game?
Yeah, he's been really good. That line's been really good for us. I think being able to play with those two guys has really helped too, right? You're a young guy coming in, and you be able to play with Strams and Russell, two veteran players, seniors, and so he's a very smart player. I think where he's taken a step, is just his condition. He's in way better shape than when he got here, right? And I think he's put on 9 pounds and 8.5 of them more muscle, right? So he's building his body through the season, which is tough to do, and I give him credit for committing to that, and all of our guys, right? I think that's getting used to just the pace of how we practice and how we want to play. So he's had a great start, for the season, and we're going to need him to keep growing.
Talk about Strand a little bit. Excuse me. You talked about Charlie a little bit. How has he continued to progress, and especially this year being a leader as one of those veteran players?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he had a really good year for us last year, and he's taken another step here, right? I think he's not forcing offense. He's playing with his head up. He's so big and long. He takes up so much space, right? So defending, he's really good. And I agree with you, like the leadership side. I really think, especially for some of our younger guys that are freshmen, and I think they really look to him, and so. He's done a good job of playing with poise and kind of rallying our troops and getting guys ready to play. So, he's a big, strong kid. He's an athletic kid. He plays 200 feet. At that size, a center, that they don't grow on trees. So we're lucky to have him, and I'm excited that he's in this opportunity to be a leader, right, and really embrace that. And he's doing a heck of a job.
Talk about Porter a little bit. You guys have a few freshmen and some transfer coming in, or who have come in. How have they continued to progress and kind of buy into what this program is asking of them and kind of being successful early on?
Well, I think we see it every day, right? It's obviously practice, watching how they practice, and they're committed to improving in the weight room, right? We're in the weight room 4 days a week, and lifestyle, I think making good decisions, away from the rink that line up with the type of player and team we want to be. So that whole group has grown. It still has a lot of room to grow, a lot to work on, but I think it goes back to our leadership, right, and the environment and culture you try to establish. I know culture is a buzzword, but to me, it's what you do day to day, right? And so you can talk about it. You got to make sure you're living it. And we got a group of leaders that have been here for 4 years that understand what we want to try to be, right? And so making sure guys are doing it every day. And the more we can do that, that younger group's going to keep growing.
Adam, I know it's old news, but do you think that first game loss, which kind of shell-shocked the hockey community, woke some of your young players up at all? I mean, in hindsight, could it have helped you?
Yeah, but I think, again, I look back at the game, we definitely had to clean some things up, but I thought we played pretty good, and that's not to take credit from, but it is a little bit, our execution wasn't great, and so you're talking about a single elimination sport, and to me, part of competing, we want to be a competitive team is execution, right? And so if you're not out, and our guys have shown that they have the ability to execute. If you're not executing, to me, you're not locked in and you're not competing, right? So, but I think that's a good sign for our team, right? You can, don't get discouraged, right? It's okay to be disappointed, but you're never discouraged and you get up off the mat. That's what we want to be as a program, right? And, you're definitely going to take some punches throughout the season. Usually, when you talk about a fight, like, everyone can throw a punch. It's who can take the most punches that's going to end up winning the fight. So, I think we got a group of guys that can take some punches.
Slightly later game, 8:30 p.m. Puck drop. Is there any emphasis on just staying locked in for that extra time?
I mean, we'll talk about it, but it is what it is, right? So we gotta make sure we have a mindset. We can play anytime, any place, anywhere, right? There's no excuse if it's a late game, it's an early game, it's a midday game, whatever time it is. We got to be ready to play. I mean, our schedule will line up with that, and we'll eat at the same time we normally do, 4 hours before the game, and have our meetings similar type times. And but I think that's a good test for the group, right? But the other team's got to do it too, right? So that'll never be an excuse for us.
Kind of that viral like puck dribble. Have you seen that in practice before? Has he tested that out before?
He's done quite a few things in practice I've never seen before. He's creative and thinks it at a different level. And I think what with Riker too is, he's a really competitive guy, right? And so, he's always working on his craft, and he's not afraid to try things. But I think it fits in within the team structure, right? That's important, right? And so, when you have a young, talented player, and we got a number of them, right? It takes some time to understand what works at different levels, and every level you move up, right? You got to make sure it's translatable. But I mean, yeah, that was I hadn't seen him do that one before. That was a first. But some of the stuff we get to watch him in practice, it's pretty amazing. Even our guys, they'll be a little bit shocked when he tries some stuff.
What's the benefit of that youth and creativity that they bring just coming into it?
Well, I mean, I think the creativity side is like you can't teach that, right? Like that's a God-given ability, and we can help him away from the puck and being a great teammate and all those things and reinforce those. Not that he is, and he is, but yeah, I mean, I think having the youth too, it's a fun group to be around. I mean, they love being at the rink. They love practicing. They got a ton of juice, and we got to make sure we maintain that throughout the year, right? I think we've talked about this before. Is it's easy here the first couple months of being excited about being at the rink, and our job is to make sure we maintain that throughout the whole season, right? Get into January and February, what can be the dog days of the season. I think that's really where you can lap people development wise if you can stay locked in and make sure you got juice when you come to the rink.